Hello, beautiful pupils. I am Ophix Gray. I am 18. I've just finished my education, and this is my introduction video to my channel. In this video, I'll be talking about what I want to use my platform for, what my goals are with my channel, and what kind of content I will be posting, because there will be a mixture of creatives, but a focus on my writing and my crochet. What am I going to use my platform for? I want to share my crafts. I crochet a lot. I knit sometimes. I sew. I'm a very creative person, creatively driven, if you will. I am also an artist. You can kind of see one of my portraits up there in the back. But all the creatives, I've tried them. And now apparently I'm onto vlogging and recording my content because I want to share my passion with the world. And I'm in a new chapter in my life. I'm on a new journey. I've just finished education. And this is my next step to where I want to go with my career. And I'm not gonna lie, I've had a lot of criticism and doubts from my teachers, from friends, from anyone who wants to give their opinion on what I want to do with my life next. And it is something that I've always wanted to try. I've had my fair share of uploading bad music to YouTube, which hopefully is long gone by now. I've had my share at making videos about the LGBTQ community and sharing knowledge about different sexualities. I've tried things before. They haven't stuck because it's not something I'm very passionate about, but with this, I want to be able to encourage people to follow their dreams. And this is my attempt at that. This is my attempt at following my dreams. And I really hope you will stick with me through it. But it's okay if not. Crochet is a big part of my life. It's something that I started probably 3 years ago, maybe a bit more, but it's something that I've taken seriously for the past 2 years of my life. I made my first crochet wearable probably about 2 years ago, and it was so bad. I used all the wrong stitches, I used so much yarn, and it literally, the sleeves dangled down to about here. I'll dig it out and show you in one of the videos. But it's something that I just do every day. If I'm not crocheting, my hands just feel empty. And I want to be able to share that craft with other people, especially because I've been so inspired by other craft artists from their crocheting and from their knitting, and I want to share mine as well because people always seem to be interested in it, so why not share it? I'm also a writer. My main goal is to be an author because I love writing, and I'm not gonna lie, it's been a bit of a struggle, but it is for everyone. I have 2 books published from when I was a child in the school competitions that you have, where if you write a good enough extract or a good enough short story, one of them is probably 50 words, you get them published in a book full of a collection of loads of short stories. You get a picture and then you have to... And those sort of things were so memorable to me, and I loved doing them. I did have the problem of when I got to secondary school, creative writing wasn't really something to do for fun. It was, these are the techniques you need to use to get a good grade in your exam. And I did get good grades in creative writing. It was my strongest point. I was getting A's and A stars in my creative writing because it's just always been my strong suit. But it wasn't as enjoyable. It was like, at times it felt more like a chore because you have to make sure you include these language features. You have to make sure you stay within the lines. And I did A-level English. I'm in the UK, if you can't tell. So I did GCSE English language, and it's very different to A-level English because in GCSE you've got to cram in all the language features. You've got to impress the reader as much as you can with your knowledge. You've got to use plosives and alliteration and all of these features to get the highest marks and show that you know the appropriate time to use the features. And it was just language features. And I got good grades in that. Then we moved to A-level, and it's on about making your writing real. And that really inspired me because my writing improved so much. I used to write very accentuated. Like, I would always do everything with an unnecessary flair now that I look back on it. And my sentences would just be jam-packed full of these verbs that weren't necessary or these adjectives that were just so out of there. And something that really stuck with me, that my English teacher said, was only use one standout line in each sentence. If you're going to use an extra phase, like an what's the word? Extravagant phrase. Yeah, I did English A-level. An extravagant phrase. Oh my goodness. Then only use one because you want that to be your standout point. And that's what I did. So my sentences turned from elaborate ways of saying something really simple to something simple with an effect. And I think that helped with my writing a lot. He also said, if there's a word that's simpler than the one you're using, use that instead. Which again is really good advice because you don't need to complicate the reader. I'm going way off track. But the point is, I love writing. Writing is my way to express. I have a habit of when I've been having a tough time and I've had just a cry session and I just need to get my emotions out, that's when the poetry comes out. And I love writing poetry, but it's something that I'm only really that good at when I'm not in a good mental space, which is kind of ironic. But yeah, I absolutely adore writing and I want to make it my full-time, I want this to be my full-time career, but I want to make it. When people say my name, I want to be known as an author. I also want to be known as a content creator, and I want to be known as a crafter/crocheter. But author is the standpoint that I want when people talk about me. And the reason I want to content create this is because I don't want to be alone in this journey, and I don't want others to be alone in it. I am a young adult who is very much new to adult life. I've been in education my whole life, and honestly, I don't know what to do out of it. My whole summer vacation has just been crocheting, writing, gaming, and just sitting around a lot. And I'm so excited for this next chapter in my life. Not excited for having to figure out more adult stuff. Like the full-time education benefits have run out now, so I have to pay for more things, which but this whole journey is going to be new to me, and I want to share it because I want to be able to encourage people, because there could be someone who sees my video and they are unsure about what they want to do. They are unsure about pursuing dreams that we are so often told are unrealistic, especially within the creative subject. And I want to be able to inspire that person and show them that you can make your dreams come true if you work hard enough. Show them that this is a real job and it is an opportunity that you can take, because no matter what people tell you, there are always going to be haters or people who doubt your ability. You've got to believe in yourself, and I know that that can be hard, so let me believe in you too. I want to share this journey as I go through it as someone who's never been through it before. I'm showing you all the mistakes, I'm showing you all the things I'm learning as I'm doing this, because I haven't done it before. And I want to show you my ways of planning my characters out and the ways that I crochet this and that. And if I show you the mistakes, I also get to show you the evolution, because it's not just me sharing my work, it's me and you exploring it together. You get to see my progress, you get to see me grow, you get to see how it all changes and becomes real. And that's why I'm so excited to take this journey with you. Also, yes, I do have a sheet at the side of me full of notes about what I'm going to talk about. I also want advice. This is the last point of this bit. I also want advice because there may be times where I'm going to struggle with what to say and what to write about. So advice, support, fellow content creators, or just people who have done these things and know a solution, because I'm going to struggle, I'm going to have problems, everyone does. But I want to share that with you, and if there is any advice that you have, or if you're struggling with something and there's advice that I can give, I don't want to see this as, oh, you're all my fans. No, you're my followers. You're following me, and we're in this journey together. It's not two separate people in their lives. Within my journey, I don't want to be alone with it. Because why? It's my dream to motivate and encourage others in sharing my passions. So yeah. What kind of content will I be posting? So I'll talk about schedule first. With my schedule, I would like to be posting short form content every single day, like a video a day. I don't know how realistic that is. I want to try and keep it balanced. It will be a mixture of what kind of content it will be, but I would like to try and keep it balanced in terms of crochet and writing, and throwing in some videos of other hobbies as well. So like there may be a time lapse of me doing some art, or just like a day in the life video, things like that. But I would like to try and post one every day, because in the past I've had experience with growing a following from doing that. Obviously, the more videos you post, the better, but I feel like one a day is the most realistic for me. With long form content, I would like to be able to post a video a week. Again, I don't know how realistic it is. It's something that will change as my channel grows, as I get more comfortable and I get into a routine. I'll be able to figure out whether or not one video a week is realistic for me, or if I need to change that to 1.5, or even if some weeks I'll be able to get 2 videos a week out. It's something that I won't really know until I'm doing it. So it'll take practice to get into a solid routine, but I would like a video a week. I also have never edited a video before, so like that's something that's going to be challenging. I found that on the few short form videos that I've started to like pre-record ready for release, because I didn't want to release any videos until I've got this main introduction video out, so that people have this video to refer back to, and just so that people know who I am and it feels like the start of my channel. But I didn't want to release any videos beforehand. But just for my short time editing them, I can easily spend an hour editing a video that is like 1 minute long, 1 or 2 minutes long. Also, I don't understand how people can fit so much content into a minute. It's so hard. I know it's something I'll get better at, but a minute just feels like such a short time, and I feel like I'm quite a rambler if you can't tell, but I feel like I have so much I want to say and not enough time to say it, which is why I think I'll love the long form videos, but I still need to rein myself in. But I want to be doing 1 video a week for long form content. I feel like that's, yeah. I want to try and keep it balanced between writing and crochet. It might fall more crochet heavy if I don't have things to talk about in my writing, or vice versa, because some crochet projects take so much longer than others, and yeah. What sort of content will I actually be posting? So for short form, crochet wise, I'll probably be posting your general, what you expect. So your crochet with me, your progress videos. So I'm currently working on a pattern for these trousers I'm making, and I had to adjust it quite a bit because I was using a different weight yarn. The original trousers used 450 grams worth of yarn for the 1 pair of trousers, which is ridiculous. It was 9 balls of 50-gram yarn, and never again. But I'm hoping that size down and using a lighter weight yarn, it's going to cost less, but also make it comfier and easier to wear, because the problem I found was when I actually wore them out, they sunk throughout the night. This was after steaming, by the way. They just sunk so much and they just fell down. They didn't like fall down, but like the trousers just sunk. I can't think of a better word, but they started out around my ankles and ended up almost touching the floor when I was wearing platforms. So you can tell from that just how much they sunk. But they're stunning, they're gorgeous. I would love to be able to wear them out more, but it also made the crotch area baggier and it's just not as comfortable to wear. So hopefully through sizing those down, it will make me able to actually wear them out more, which is what I want to do with my crochet stuff. I love wearing my crochet stuff out, it's just that I don't always get the chance to, or it isn't always appropriate. But yeah, so with things like that, it's a long process making them, especially because I do daft things and I make really complicated attempts of things in my first attempt. So this is the first pattern that I'm writing, and it is so complex. I don't go for anything easy, but the pattern is quite intricate. There's a whole side detail that is the hardest part to adjust that I found, but then the main portion is also a stitch that's just not your traditional crochet stitch. And I do this to myself all the time. I either go crazy through using unique stitches, I use a crochet hook that's way too small for the time that I set myself. I give myself crazy deadlines. I gave myself a month to knit my birthday cardigan, and it still isn't done, even after I had my friend helping me to knit it because I just couldn't do it. And it's a patchwork cardigan. It's almost done, but it's not quite done. So yeah, progress video. For short form content, it will just be like little updates and things that I'm struggling with, advancements that I've made, just like that's where the advice comes in. But then also just your general crochet with me videos, time lapses, the occasional aesthetic video, if I can make that work, because it's me. I'm not the best at aesthetic. I can try, but that'll also take editing skills, so it should hopefully improve over time. So yeah, those are the main like crochet short form content that you can expect from me. There may also be other hobbies that I do that I make videos for. So in one of the ones that I've prepared, I did an art, like a drawing time lapse, and then showed my progress afterwards. And there may be more of them, other hobbies, things like that. There could be short form videos about my daily life, about wearing out a crochet outfit that I made, or just extra life content. Writing. I think writing is going to be the most interesting one, because I've struggled with what sort of writing content I will post short form. And I think honestly, most of it is going to be talking about plans and like talking about little things. So me building my characters, me building my world, how what I'm planning is going to link into my book, or things like that. I could talk about what I wrote today, like what topics. So in one of the time lapses that I have pre-recorded, I talk about, while I'm planning childhood of my characters, I talk about why I think that's important for my story and why I think that that's beneficial. So how I feel, sorry, I just touched the mic, how I feel that a character's childhood changes the person that they are, and the things that they go through affect the actions that they do, the reactions they have to actions, and how by knowing something about a past and establishing that in a character, it explains why this character is so stubborn, or why this character is so closed off. Because as someone who has an interest in that from school subjects. I think that is so interesting in people in reality, so why wouldn't I incorporate that into my characters? But things like that about while I'm establishing my way of creating characters and planning for my story, why I focus on that. And I do have a habit of going into too much detail. This is so bad. I effectively wasted half a year of my time in school for my health and social coursework researching the wrong things and going into way too much detail, and I didn't need to. The section we were doing was on physiological disorders, and I spent so long researching in detail, how does asthma affect the body? How does asthma affect the respiratory system? And I went into detail so much that I learned about the whole upper respiratory tract, including how the digestive system and the respiratory system mix and how you stop digesting air or inhaling food and things like that. And I did not need to know that. I didn't write about it once, and I spent so much time researching that, and I wasted so much time, and it caused me so much stress. So I have a habit of going into too much detail. But with my writing, I feel like I can restrict it more, because I'm also at the same time so excited to actually start writing. Like, I'm so excited to start writing my book, but I don't want to do it until I've got all the basic planning sorted out. So, yeah. With other short form content for my writing, choosing decisions, so like deciding whether or not this is an action my character should do or this one, and like I want input, because at the end of the day, I will be reading the books. I will have to read the books to edit them. Again, editing. Why do I choose these choices? But I'm not the one who's going to be reading it at the end of the day. Other people are, and like, I want to know your input on how you want a story to be structured. That's the one. So I saw a post the other day that was like, do you prefer enemies to lovers, or do you prefer enemies to lovers? And it just made me think about structure and about how is that going to work? Would you rather the build up be longer and the like resolution be shorter? And it's things like that that are interesting, and I think input on could really help. Obviously the choices don't have to dictate what I'm writing about, but it could. If I'm really stuck on something, it could really help. I can do time lapses about my writing. And then closer to the release of my books, I want to like introduce the characters. So one of the main characters in the book I'm writing at the minute, her name is Cassandra, and I think it would be really interesting to, close to the time, show like artwork that I might do of Cassandra and how Cassandra looks, and then like just share details to help build things up and not ramp things up, but like engage the audience leading up to the release of my book. And I feel like that'll be really good to introduce you guys to the characters. And that's something that I'm really interested in and excited for as an idea. So definitely look out for that. But that's a long way down the road. In terms of long form content, so I'm bringing the sheet further down. Crochet wise, again, I don't have as much originality in terms of ideas for long form crochet videos, but your traditional things of crochet with me, this is the crochet project that I'm working on this week, trying a new technique, so like fillet crochet has been going viral recently. I've tried a new mosaic crochet project recently, and things like that that are viral. And the thing is, people will always click on something new for, this is my first time trying this, because it's interesting, whether you've started it yourself or whether you're wanting to start it, or just for entertainment. Like, fillet crochet is something I've never really had an interest in because my hands would not like me. But then I am currently looking at a project in trying to crochet lace, kind of, and I know I'm not gonna like myself for it, but we don't talk about that. For some of the other videos, completing whips, that will really help me to actually stay motivated and finish my whips. In case you don't know, whips are work in progresses, and I have a lot of them, like your average crafter. Like, there's so many abandoned projects. It's at the point now where I've started to repurpose the yarn, because it's just sitting there and I don't wear it and I don't use it, so I may as well repurpose the yarn. I've got a short form content video that I've got processing, that's unraveling some of the yarn, some of the sleeves off a jumper that doesn't fit right, and repurposing it into like an off-the-shoulder jumper. We'll see if that actually ever comes to the surface, but hopefully it does. Tutorials, yeah, so you remember them trouser patterns I was talking about earlier? A tutorial for them. Again, it's something I'd rather do when I've got more of a following, because I don't want to release tutorials that take me ages and then there'd be the chance of no one using it or watching it. But also pattern testers, and I need to learn a lot more about releasing a pattern and writing a pattern before I release them. But pattern testers are a big thing, and if I release a video tutorial at the beginning of my channel when I don't have anyone watching me, then what if I release a written pattern with no one who's tested it, and then when people buy it they can't understand it? Because that is something that I'm worried about, especially for the intricate designs that I can craft. So like, a lot of them will be chain this amount, skip this many stitches, double crochet into this stitch, and it can be a bit confusing. It's been a bit confusing to the point that I've drawn diagrams in my note, like my workbook that I store things in now. Long form, that's what I'm on. Sorry, I was just looking at the times of my videos. Organising yarn. My yarn stash is a bit of a mess. I recently got like drawers to put my yarn into, so I need to put it into that if it will all fit, and then sort out my whips, because my whips are in a whole bag and they don't need to be. I just need to decide what I'm keeping and what I'm not, because it's not I have so much yarn I'm not using, but then at the same time I've spent so much of this year using yarn scraps, and I want to buy new yarn and I can't because I want to use the yarn scraps. But then it's a whole debate. But then whenever I go out somewhere new, I always end up buying some new yarn, because doesn't everyone? It's like that thing of, you're only there once and you see beautiful yarn, you're gonna get it. Future projects, what I want to crochet, although I do have a habit of if there's a project that I see that I really want to work on, I will just start it. I have no control when it comes to starting new projects. It's bad, but yeah. In general videos, there could be a day in the life. Probably when I've got a better routine with this, and like I can show, or even like a week video that's like, on Monday I edit, on these days I record, and here I went out with my friends, and things like that. Don't expect them anytime soon, but hopefully in the future when my life is a bit more interesting and my friends are all settled off in uni, because it's that time now and they're all going off. So hopefully in the future things will like come to a week in the life. Writing. Let's move on to the writing long form content. I'm aware this section is long, I'm so sorry. Goals. With my writing, there are certain goals that I want to achieve, and it could be as a weekly video, like these are the goals I achieved this week in my writing. So I want to finish planning out my world. I want to have all the different nations, like all their names set up, what their towns look like, the sorts of people that live there, all the sorts of species that live there, because fantasy, I like fantasy. But yeah, things like that. There could also be just details, and like how I mentioned earlier, but without going into too much detail. But that could be a goal. I want to research what sort of plants, because like alchemy, right? I want to research what sorts of plants have what sorts of properties, and then I can link that in with reality but put my own twist on it, and then that can lead to a potion that heals this, or a potion that can lead to poison tipped arrows. All this is just off the top of my head, but that sort of research, that again goes into a lot of detail, probably doesn't need to, but just, I'm gonna try and rein it in, but we'll see. Giving myself a set amount I want to write. So like when I talked to someone and they had a friend who was an author, they said, oh yeah, they give themselves a goal of writing 50,000 words a day, which I find is a lot. I think the way that I probably work is like just in chapters. I write however much I can write until it stops becoming coherent, which tends to happen around like 4 a.m. I tend to write in the night because I don't live alone. I live with my parents. Obviously, I'm 18. I have no form of income at the minute, but I want to spend time with my family first. And then when it comes to nighttime, I start writing. I start writing around midnight until 4 a.m. Or if I'm not writing, I'm doing this. Occasionally I'm crocheting if I have like a deadline that I need to sort out. But I don't go to sleep until like 5-6 a.m. and then wake up around 2. So that's my sleep schedule that I've gotten into now that I'm out of school, and it works. Just for clarification, that is go to sleep at 6 a.m. and wake up at 2 p.m. But yeah, it works for me. And it also works that one of my friends also has a similar sleep schedule, so if I need to talk, I can talk to him. But yeah, so it just works, because then I get time to be home alone and I can focus on my writing. And I'm doing this now, and it is 3 a.m. 3:12 to be exact. Other long form writing videos, editing, when it comes down to editing chapters and I'm not looking forward to that because I started it on one of my other books that I'm working on, which I'm not going to release that first. I've written like the first 4 chapters, but I'm giving it a break because that book is my baby, and like I'm not, again, I want to wait until I've got a bit of a bigger audience before I release that book. And also because that book is a tragedy and it is quite dark. It covers a lot of dark themes, and it's something that I have to be in the right mind to work on. And I'm not saying that I'm not at the minute, but I want to give that one a bit of space, especially because I had a bit of a shock last year and I haven't really focused on it since. But that is a book that I'll be writing in the future, so you can look forward to that. A set challenge I want to overcome, or a set milestone I want to reach, or even just like, oh, I'm really struggling with writing this chapter. So this week I'm just going to release a video on overcoming the problem that I'm facing, things like that. And just, or if I'm doing the thing where I but like I struggle to reach a deadline, and I can just be like, okay, I'm right here, right now, I'm reaching that deadline. That sort of thing. I can also do organizing my sheets and info. I don't know how interesting of a video that would be, honestly, but when it comes down to it, I do a lot of my planning on physical paper, but then when I write, I want to write on my laptop. So it could just be a thing of like uploading my information on my sheets onto my laptop. I use Notion for my writing because I love Notion. I used it throughout school to organize my thoughts and organize my subjects, and I use it for my writing as well because Word is okay, but also it's just boring. But Notion, I get to format it however I want. This isn't sponsored or anything, I just love Notion and I use it for my writing because it's just always worked. And that's literally my next point, what I use. Notion. I could go through like my Notion setup when I have that more sorted and more cleared, because the one that I use at the minute is a template from someone else, but I'll probably adjust it and make it fit to myself better. So yeah, I think that's everything. I think that is everything. So yeah, that is the end of my introductory video, and just a brief recap. I am Ophix grade, I'm 18, and I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but I am non-binary. I use they, them pronouns. If you have a problem with that, I don't care to know. But yeah, so I am a crocheter / crafter, mainly crocheter. I am a writer, and I am so excited for this journey going forward. If you have any questions going forward, or if you have any requests of what sort of content you would like to see, please do share. Please write in the comments below. You can find me at Ophix Grey on all social media. Well, on YouTube here, obviously, TikTok, and Instagram, all of them under the handle of Ophix Grey without the I, so OPHXGREY. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you as we go forward. Hopefully I shall be posting more content soon. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.